So I'm going to take you through how you set up your very first Facebook ad. So before you get started with Facebook Ad Manager, you have to make sure you have three things. So your personal Facebook account, your business Facebook account, so the company Facebook page, and then you have to download or you have to connect Facebook Business Manager. So that's fairly easy to do. If you haven't done it already, I can send over details afterwards with this video about how you do that. So once you have that all connected, you can navigate to Ads Manager from your Facebook business page. And what we're looking at right now is the overview screen of Ads Manager. So Ads Manager is basically what you'll use to manage, create, review your ads, see how much money you're spending, see which ads are getting the most clicks, just kind of seeing which one's successful, which one isn't, and how you can kind of edit them and test them and change them and review them from here. So this is what you'll use to run everything. So it's set up into three different sections. We've got campaigns, ad sets, and ads. So basically within campaigns, you'll set your kind of high level campaign. And within that, you'll set your ad set. So think of ad sets like audience lists. So who you're going to target. And then within that, you'll have your ads. So you can test different ads against each other. So you can have any different number of ads within each ad set. So we'll start with campaigns. So before you get started creating your first Facebook ad campaign, you probably want to think about your overall objective. Why do you want to use Facebook to target people? Who do you want to target? What do you want to target them with? Like, what do you want to show them? And finally, where do you want to take them? So do you want to take them to your website? Is it a landing page? Is it a video you want them to watch? Like what is your ultimate objective? You're going to be putting money into Facebook. So you want to make sure that you have a goal at the start and you don't want your dollars to kind of be wasted. So you really want to be clear on what your ultimate goal is with Facebook advertising. So to get started, we will just hit the create campaign. And within that, you have to choose a campaign objective. So you have three options here. There's awareness, consideration, and conversion. So awareness is really when you don't have a specific call to action in mind, you just want to get your ad in front of lots of people. So if you want to get more awareness of your brand, but without necessarily getting any leads or specific downloads, then you go with an awareness goal here. So for the section on consideration, this is when you want people to take a specific action. So traffic is if you're driving people towards your website or a landing page. Engagement, so say you have a Facebook page and you want people to kind of engage more with your post, you maybe want more likes, you want people to share your posts a bit more, then you would go for an engagement goal here. App installs, if you have a new app and you want to drive people there to kind of install your app. Video views, so if you have a new video, you want people to watch it, by choosing this one, Facebook will put the video in front of the people that are most likely to watch it. Lead generation is a good one for getting contact details. So it's basically a form within Facebook that you can set up and you can collect things like first name, last name, email address, phone number. And then they'll actually do that within Facebook itself. So you can set this up, the format within the ad. So that means that people can give their information within Facebook itself. They don't have to leave. They don't have to go to a separate landing page. And it just kind of makes life a bit easier for them. And then finally, messages that will direct people to Facebook Messenger. So the last section is for conversion. So this is more for people who might be selling something like an e-commerce website. You drive people towards sales on your website. So for this example, because it's kind of setting up your first Facebook ad, we'll pick traffic and go through how you would set up a traffic campaign where you drive people towards your website or your landing page. So the next step is just to confirm, yes, you want to send people to destinations such as a website, app, Facebook event, or messenger conversation. So then we hit continue. So we can name the campaign here. So I will call this website traffic campaign. And this is basically the section where you tell Facebook what you want this campaign to mean. So some of this we can ignore. So special ad categories, this references things like credit, employment, housing. So if you have like a political ad, they're treated slightly differently by Facebook. So we can just ignore that for now. It's set up automatically as auction for a web traffic campaign. So just leave it as auction and leave the campaign objective as traffic. So here the campaign spending limit. This is if you say you have a budget of maybe $60 to $100 per day, and the budget will be completely up to testing. Like the biggest thing about Facebook ad is that you need to keep testing. You need to try different things out. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. It's really all about you testing some ads, seeing what works, seeing where you get the likes, seeing where you get the clicks and the lead gen, and really just keep testing. And a part of testing is increasing your budget, decreasing your budget. You can start off with a small amount, maybe $20 to $50 a day, kind of up that as you go, just kind of, you can be quite flexible with that. So for now, say we wanted $100 spending limit per day, we'd add $100 here. And then it just means that Facebook will never go over $100 within one day. So the next section is A/B testing. So if you, for example, you had two different images that you wanted to test against each other, you can set it up as an A/B test. I'll leave that for now. I'll keep it fairly basic and we'll just go through setting up one ad. The same with campaign budget optimization. This is something that Facebook will basically optimize your budget for you. I'll leave this off for now. Okay, so now we're into the ad set section. So this is basically you telling Facebook who you want to target, which kind of people you want to target, and kind of getting really into the details about that. So we'll call this, I'm going to target people in Oakland. So we'll just call this Oakland set. You can leave this as website. We picked a web traffic campaign, so we'll just leave that the same here. So these are another two sections that you can probably just leave for now. Maybe when you've kind of gone through this a few times and you feel more comfortable, there's extra things you can do. So dynamic creative, it's adding different creative elements to your ads. The same with offer, it's adding like different offers and reminders. So probably the kind of thing you can do when you have a bit more experience, just kind of setting up the basic ads. So now we're into the budget and schedule section. So you basically have two options. You can have a daily budget or a lifetime budget. So for daily budget, let's say we're going to make our daily budget $50. So then I can set this up to start from, let's say, Friday evening at 8:30. And then I can either leave that just to run kind of indefinitely, or I can set an end date. So let's make this just a weekend campaign where we run it from Friday through Sunday evening, and we'll just schedule it to end on Sunday at 8:30. So when I finish this and publish it, it won't go live until the time I've specified here. So let's say we want to do a lifetime budget. So that would be for the kind of thing where you just kind of want ongoing brand awareness and you want your ads to be on Facebook consistently in front of your audience. So if you pick lifetime budget, and then let's make it $50 a day. And then if you go to show more options, you can actually schedule your ads to run at specific times. So say you know that your target audience is likely to be on Facebook in the evenings on a Monday. Here you just kind of pick between, say, 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. on a Monday evening, and then they will only see ads between those times. So you can kind of pick and choose if you know that there's specific times of the day or week throughout the day that people are more likely to be on, then you can, you can select here, be quite specific. And the next section is audience. So this is the section where we can tell Facebook who we want to target, and you can get quite specific here. So I'll just go through the default, which is the United States. So if we say we're targeting everyone in the United States who is between the ages of 18 to 65, and let's just say we only want to target women for this one. So I'll change that to women, and if you see at the right here, it tells you how many people within the United States that are women between the ages of 18 and 65 are on Facebook. So you're looking at 120 million people. So with that number of people in your audience, you're going to reach about 1.2 to 3.3 thousand people per day, which is likely to give you 13 to 49 clicks per day. So you want to always kind of keep this right section in mind when you change the audience, and just kind of see how big or small your audience gets. So you can also change things like languages. So maybe you only want to target women between the ages of 18 to 65 in the USA who, say, speak Spanish. So now you're looking at 16 million people. And if we could just go to show more options here, you can say, I don't want to target somebody that's already liked my Facebook page. So we just open this up and add a connection type, say, Facebook pages exclude people who already like your page. It means that anybody potentially like an existing customer won't see this ad. So, and this is where we can get a little bit more strategic with our audience targeting. So you have two options here. You can basically target a specific area. So say you're a moving company based in Oakland and you want to target people in Oakland. You can target everyone within Oakland and just kind of assume that some of them might be moving at some point. But that means that you're showing your ad to a lot of people who won't necessarily be moving. So you can get more specific and try and think of ways to only show your ad to the most relevant people who you think will definitely be moving sometime soon. So this is a little bit harder than it used to be. Facebook changes their audience targeting options quite regularly. So you have to kind of be creative as you go, and when they change something, kind of think of new ways. So say, for example, with coronavirus over the summer, a lot of people have potentially been choosing to move from the city to further outside to get away from people and kind of be more in the country and less in the city. So let's say we want to target people who live in Oakland. So we'll just search for Oakland here. And you want to make sure here that Facebook will default to people living in or recently in this location. We want to make sure it's people that live in Oakland, not people that have visited recently. So you could just change that to people living in this location. So now we've got people that live within 40 kilometers of Oakland. So I'll just change this back to everyone. So now we've got 560,000 people. So now we can get a bit more strategic. Oh, I'll take off the Spanish. And then we've got, 3,200,000 people that live in Oakland between the ages of 18 to 65. So let's say, what kind of people are likely to potentially move this summer because of coronavirus? So what kind of people do we think might want to make a move from the city because of coronavirus? So potentially people with young children maybe want to get out of the city and kind of move a bit further out. So that's the kind of thing that we can go to the detailed targeting here. So if you go to browse, you'll see that you can narrow your audience further by demographics, interests, and behaviors. So demographics is everything from like education to financial life events, if you're in a relationship, if you have a job or not. Interests. So these are things that you kind of told Facebook that you're interested in. So if you're interested in, say, food and drink, and then within that, just specific drinks that you might have said, like you're a coffee lover. So you can target people down to that kind of detailed level. And then finally, we've got behaviors. So this is your behavior on Facebook. So you can target people down to like mobile device user. So for this, let's say we'll go to demographics, we'll go to parents, and then we'll select new parents, 0 to 12 months. So now what we're looking at is everybody that lives within 40 kilometers of Oakland between the ages of 18 to 65, but they're also new parents of children between 0 to 12 months. So we're left with 4,700 people. So that's obviously a much narrower audience, and you're kind of getting your ad in front of much more specific. So you can be a bit more creative here as well, and you can kind of think of other reasons why people might be likely to move. So say somebody's been divorced recently, they might be looking for a new house, they're potentially going to be moving. So then you can go to relationship status and choose divorce as the relationship status, and that kind of gives another way to target people. So this is really up to your interpretation of what you think is going to work for your audience, and you can really be quite creative here. And as I said before, Facebook does keep changing it, so you do have to kind of keep being more strategic and more creative and kind of find different ways to target your target audience. So I'll leave that how it is for now. So we've got 4,700 people within Oakland that are new parents. So then we can save this audience. So I'll call it Oakland new parents. And then if I want to use this in a different ad campaign in the future, then I can just use the audience that I've already saved. So then the next part is placements. So Facebook will default to automatic placements, which basically means that Facebook will choose where your ad is shown. You can then change this to do it yourself by going to manual placements. So you basically have the options of Facebook, Instagram, Audience Network, and Messenger. So if you have a Facebook page and an Instagram page and you want your ad to run on both of them, just unselect these two, and your ad will just run on Facebook and Instagram. Audience Network basically means any kind of partner sites that are partnered with Facebook. So if you select this one, then your ad will also appear on other websites that are outside of Facebook. Messenger, it just means your ad will appear in Messenger. So we want to have it on, say we have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. We want it to have it on both of them. So then within that, you can kind of be more specific. So if there's any sections that you don't want, you can just unselect them here. Like if you don't want it to appear on Facebook stories, just don't select that. So within this, you have some more options to be a bit more specific with your targeting. So say you only want to show it to people that have an iPhone. You just go to all mobile devices, and then within that, just say iOS only. And then within that, you can say iPads, iPhones, or iPods. So maybe we don't want to show it to people with iPods. We'll take that off. And that's going to change your audience size there. You can also go as far as like choosing the version of your iPhone. The rest of it, we can just kind of leave for now. So then the next part is optimization and delivery. So because we picked a website traffic campaign, it's just going to automatically be link clicks here. So we can leave that Cost control, that's just another way for Facebook to kind of manage your costs for you. So I'll just leave that how it is for now and we'll go next. So this brings us into our final section, which is creating the ad itself. So I'll just call this ad 1. Say, for example, we had 3 different ads or 4 different ads. You can kind of be more specific about the content of each ad here. So here you just have to make sure that your Facebook, if you have maybe more than one Facebook page connected to your ad account, you just want to make sure it's the correct one. So just make sure your company Facebook page is selected here. And then if you have an Instagram account, just also select your Instagram account. So then we get into setting up the actual ad. So you have some options here. You can have a single image or video ad, which is what I most commonly use. You can also have a carousel or a collection, which are more images and can kind of get a bit more complicated. Once you're more familiar with Facebook and setting up ads, you can also add on things like an instant experience and a playable source file. So they're just kind of more experiences that Facebook has as options. So I make sure here that the preview is on. It means that we can see what our ad's going to look like on the different placements. So I'll add media here. So you can either add something that an image that you already have, or you can add one of their stock images. So if you go to add media, add image, and then all of the images that you have saved in your library will be here. So if we go to account images and stock photos, we can look for something here to add. I wouldn't recommend necessarily using stock images. I'm going to use it now just for this example, but for your own moving company, it's definitely better to use real people, real customers, your truck, your team, like the crew. Anything that's real is going to kind of resonate with people a lot more. But just for this ad, I'll just add a stock image. So let's say we want to target people in Oakland with a young family. So I'll just pick an image here that is kind of relevant to them. So this is an image just of a young family moving. So let's pick that one. So now if you check out the preview here on the right, it'll just show you what your ad's going to look like in the different. So this is showing me what it'll look like in the Facebook news feed. So now I can kind of go through and add different copy to the ad. So for the headline, so this is going to appear just below the image here. So you want the headline to be something that's kind of compelling, that's like going to catch your eye. People don't spend too long looking at ads. If something resonates with them, it might catch their eye, but you want to make sure that it's something that jumps out. So I found here, especially if you're targeting people in, say, a location, but you don't necessarily know if they're going to move or not, just ask them the question, just say, are you moving? So let's make that our headline. Are you moving? Stress-free. Are you moving? We can make it stress-free. If somebody is moving soon and they see this, it might resonate with them. So the primary text that is just going to appear above the image here. So this is just where you can write something compelling that will like further entice them to click. So let's say, is your chance to create. So this is your chance to create captivating messaging to entice a customer to click. So you're limited to 125 characters or fewer. So you are kind of limited in what you can write. So you have to kind of choose your words carefully and just kind of think of something that will really kind of click with people. So the description, this will only appear in certain placements. So it's just like an additional place where you can write more about your company and about kind of what you offer. Okay, so now we can check it on the right here. We can see how this full ad. So now we have our headline, we have our primary text, we have the image. The next part is the website URL. So this is just obviously where you want to drive them to. So this can be your website or your landing page. So we're going to drive them to a website. So I will just put the Oncue website address in here. And then that will drive everybody to your website. So then we have the display link. So this is basically just you can have this say something else similar to your website. So just kind of a shortened version. So in the call to action section, the default is learn more, but you can change this to something that's a bit more relevant for whatever your ad is talking about. So it could be let's make it contact us. So are you moving? We can make it stress-free, contact us. So now on the right, you can check out what it's going to look like within, so that was what it would look like within Instagram. This is what it would look like within Facebook feed. You can go through and if you pick stories, this is what it would look like within Facebook stories. Okay, so the final section here is the tracking section. So this is basically when you set an ad and you publish it and then it's live, you obviously want to see how many people it has actually impacted, how many customers you might eventually get. So to do that, you want to set up your Facebook pixel. So if you haven't done this is fairly simple to do. We actually published a blog post this week about how you can set up your Facebook pixel. So you can check that out in the Oncue blog. And then there's other things you can do here for further tracking. If you want to see where people are coming to, you can add what's called URL parameters. So that's something you can kind of you can do relatively easily. So if you just go to here, build a URL parameter, that will give you more information about where the people have come from. So that's your ad kind of set up. So now the next step is to publish. So when you publish, it will go into a review stage within Facebook. So Facebook's review team will look at it, make sure that it kind of fits their guidelines. And this can take anything from a few minutes up to a few hours. And just keep in mind that sometimes the ad will get rejected. So it can be rejected for several reasons. One of which is if you have an image with text on it, if you have too much text, they'll often reject it for that reason. So just kind of bear in mind if you're having text on images, kind of keep it quite small. The other thing is sometimes they just take a dislike to some words. So there's certain things like if you have the word job in an ad, then they automatically see that as an employment ad and it will get rejected for that. So just kind of avoid things like that. But it's the kind of thing where if you get rejected, they'll give you reasons why. You just have to kind of look through that and decide what the reason is. So it can be quite frustrating sometimes if you've gone to a lot of work and then it just gets rejected, and it can take a few hours to kind of get to the next stage. But it's worth it. Once you've done it a few times, you'll kind of work out what ad might get rejected and what ad won't. So that is our ad live now. So if we navigate back to the overview page and then we go to ads here, so you'll see that it says in draft. So then at some point that's going to change to in review, and then it will eventually be an active ad. So if we go back to the campaign section, so now we're back in the overview section. So the campaign that I have in review here is the website traffic campaign that we just put together. So this will keep saying in review until it's been through the whole review process. So now that your ad's live, it's out there for the world to see. People have probably started to see it, maybe interact with it. So you kind of want to monitor the progress of the ad, monitor how it's performing. So you can do that from this section. So let's open this campaign. So here you can see all the metrics around how your ad is performing. So here you've got the budget. So we did $50 for lifetime. You've got the results. So when you start to get people clicking on your ad, you'll see how many clicks you had here. You'll see the reach, the impressions. You'll see the cost per result. So in this case, it will be the cost per click. So out of money that you put into this, it's really important to kind of work out for your marketing ROI, like how much money you put in this and how many clicks did you actually get. It'll show you your amount spent, and then it will show you at the end here, it will tell you the unique clicks. So that's individual people. So the other one will tell you how many clicks, but 6 of those clicks can be from one individual person. So this will tell you just how many actual people clicked. And then if we go back to campaigns, you can kind of, if you have more than one campaign, you can kind of see all this together. So you can see the total results, total reach, total impressions, total amount spent. So if you want to see this within a specific time frame, maybe you have your ad campaign running for 1 month and you want to check out like the last month or the middle month of October, you'll just select from say the 11th to the 17th of October update, and it will just show you how much you've spent in total and how your ads have performed for that specific time. So that's kind of a high level overview of how you set up a Facebook ad campaign. It's fairly basic for this one. There's a lot more you can do. It's the kind of thing where you maybe do it once, you kind of start to see people interact, learn as you go. It's a lot about testing, really testing new things, testing new ads, testing your audience, and just kind of monitoring it and seeing how it goes. So there's a lot of possibility here. It can be a lot of fun, kind of seeing what works and what doesn't. So hopefully you found that useful, and good luck with your very first Facebook ad.